Good morning and happy Friday. Jordan Keck here, your lender buddy with your weekly market update. I want to first let you know I will be out of the office next week, Wednesday through Sunday, of our annual President's Club trip, so I'll be out of service for that. But Tyler on my team, you may have already worked with him. He is licensed. He is amazing. Will still be available evenings and weekends. He is able to get pre-approvals out, run numbers, and be able to start anyone new. So the contact information is going to be in the email, but please reach out to him if you need anything. And then I'll be back next Sunday. So no weekly market update next Friday. As far as market rates, we did see some more improvement here from 6.45% down to 6.38. As we'll get into, it's pretty much all revolving around Iran and the oil situation right now. Still some hesitant optimism, but moving in the right direction and hopefully continuing that trend. This weekly mortgage tip wanting to talk about multiple lots being included in a sale. This is really common if you've got a home with a house on it, and then next door or adjacent to it, you have a lot that doesn't have anything on it. Maybe it's being used as a yard. And so the way that you do this, it's going to depend if the lot is buildable. If the lot is not buildable and it's immediately adjacent to the lot with a house, then you can include that in the sale and in the loan, and that can be encumbered with the same loan, whether it's FHA, VA, conventional, USDA, doesn't really matter. The trouble you run into is if the bare lot is buildable, then the highest and best use of that property is not to be encumbered with the same loan, so it cannot be included in the purchase agreement when it's being financed because that loan cannot encumber both lots together. So depending on the situation, if there's enough value in the lot with the home, or if there's a big enough down payment, the way I've usually gotten around this is to separate them out into two separate purchase agreements. Then put the majority of all of the value in the lot with the home, and then you can do the lot by itself, let's say for $1, as long as the numbers still work. Each scenario might need a little bit of finagling to figure out exactly what that's going to come in at, how the appraised value is going to work, and how much down payment the borrower has to come up with. But if you run into that situation, let me know. Happy to sort through that, see what options may be available, so you don't have to worry about getting into issues at the 11th hour. This week, as far as the news for Iran, Trump last weekend issued a stern warning saying that the future attacks would be imminent, they would be devastating if they did not open the Strait of Hormuz by 8 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. That didn't end up happening, but there were negotiations that started, and there was a ceasefire for a 2-week period with conversations happening in Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey acting as mediators, proposing the ceasefire and immediately opening it. But again, we got one of those, not the other. And so the Strait of Hormuz is still effectively closed, but talks will begin this weekend in Pakistan. So hopefully we're going to see some movement there. Realtor.com showed March new listings rose 21% to 439,000, which is very typical for the spring season. We see this build up every time of the year. Active listings rose 5% to 964, which again is normal for the season, but still below pre-pandemic levels. Days on market fell a good chunk from 70 in February to 57 days in March, and the median list price rose 3% to 415,000. Next, we have PCE, which is the personal consumption expenditure inflation data for for February, so a little bit delayed, rising 0.4% with no surprises. Year over year is up 2.8%. Core PCE rose 0.4%, and year over year core dropped from 3.1 to 3. All of these numbers exactly as expected with the market. But we got CPI inflation, which was from March, so a little bit more recent. And no surprise on this one, came in pretty high at 0.9% for the month, almost exclusively due to oil. This was anticipated by the market, and so there's not any huge reactions to it. Year-over-year inflation rose from 2.4 to 3.3%. Gas prices rose 21% alone for the month because of the Strait of Hormuz being closed. The core rate, which strips out food and energy prices, though, which gives us more of the real actual inflation for the month, only came up 0.2%, which was lower than expectations of 0.3%, and year over year rose from 2.5 to 2.6, still below estimates. And lastly here, Cotality reported home prices were unchanged in the month of February, no gain, no decrease. Year over year values are up 0.5%, which was down from the 0.7% in the previous report, and they're forecasting a 0.3% rise in values for March and a 4.7% increase in values in the coming 12 months, revised higher from their previous estimate of 4.4%. As always, hopefully this is helpful. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.